way, Jose.
Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
No way.
Red Hot Gotti. Alright, so today I'm doing another video, and today is the last video of 2024. Now today I'm just going to be basically just going over all the stuff that I've looked at in 2024, you know, in terms of movies and TV shows, and basically just talking about the trajectory of my entire channel. So without further ado, let's just get into it. No, overall, if I had to just talk about every single movie and TV show that I've seen a lot of bad stuff, you know, this year. I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, there's a lot of bad stuff that came out, and overall, I feel like, you know, just Hollywood in general is kind of running out of ideas, and I feel like overall, there's just a lot of stuff that is very unnecessary. Like when it comes to the Lion King movie, and when it comes to Madam Web, and, you know, Craven, and, you know, Venom 2 or Venom 3, I mean, it just, a lot of those projects just feel very unnecessary, and it's just like, I don't understand why they make stuff like that when they know the audience does not like it. You know, with the remakes, or just like bad content, you know, with a universe that you know is not going to work. And honestly, when it comes to the Sony, you know, Spider-Man-less universe or whatever, I feel like you can also call it the villain universe or whatever. It's one of the worst ideas that Sony has ever done, and it's lost them millions of dollars over the course of what, 6 years or something since they started the Venom movie. And I just don't understand it, because you understand that these characters are better with Spider-Man, and you have the rights. They literally said that they have the rights to Spider-Man still, and the ability to have him in their films, right? But they chose not to. That is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Overall, I was never like 100% engaged with that universe, you know, in general, but I still felt it was kind of irritating to see Madam Web be as bad as it was, because, you know, conceptually the film, in terms of like the plot, you know, with all the characters like having to, you know, survive their deaths, kind of like Final Destination and stuff like that, I don't think that's a bad premise. And, you know, they're taking from films that are actually good, and they can do something interesting with the premise. With Craven, I feel like it's less like that, because again, you're just sort of like retreading the same ground as like other content, but doing it worse, because you're adding a villain, and, you know, he's supposed to be more menacing, more like evil and stuff like that, because of, you know, the conceptualization of his character. But I feel like stuff like Penguin, which I also watched, which I think is one of the better shows that I've seen this year, I think that's actually good, and that represents villains well in media, and it doesn't stray away from the fact that he is a villain. Like, he gets to do evil things, he gets to kill people, he gets to, you know, be a mob boss and stuff like that. Like, he gets to be accurate to what he actually is in the comics, in the movies, in the games and stuff like that. Like, he is the Penguin. And I just feel like overall, people don't know how to understand, like, the producers and the directors, they don't know how to make a good villain story overall. Like, if they're like the main character. Stuff like Avatar as well was very interesting, because they made like a live action show based off, you know, the animated series, which I never thought they would actually do, at least this year and stuff like that. And honestly, it's definitely strange, because again, there's a lot of stuff that they changed, or, you know, didn't do the best when it comes to casting, when it comes to acting, when it comes to I would say the effects are actually good, but, you know, I don't think, obviously it doesn't match up to the original, which is an issue, because, you know, you could have easily just taken the same story and, you know, made it the way it was, but beforehand. And I just feel like overall it's irritating how they didn't you know, keep it as true to the story as, you know, other stories have. Like, you know, it's just irritating how Hollywood does this, because, you know, they change a lot of stuff. Like, for example, The Boys is a great example. Like, in season 4, right, that actually aired this year, and I think it's one of the weakest I think it's the weakest season of the entire show, because they changed, even though they changed a lot of stuff from the comics, that's not necessarily an issue. It's more so that they screwed up a lot of the characterization from certain characters, and I feel like overall the plot went in a weird direction that kind of ruins, like, for example, Butcher's storyline, and makes him more so like a villain, like, you know, stuff that the comics did wrong and that people did not like. And sometimes it really makes me think, being accurate to the comics is not always good, or manga or whatever. Like, again, animes are usually very loyal to mangas, but I think sometimes you can stray away from them if the content in the manga is bad, and a lot of animes have done that. Some people don't like it, some people do. It's really a divisive thing, but I like that The Boys was doing that, and now that they're starting to take stuff from the actual comic, I just don't like that. I know my thoughts are kind of scatterbrained, but I kind of just want to talk about everything, as a whole, and just kind of, lay out all my thoughts as much as possible, because I want to get this out on New Year's Eve. So yeah. Some stuff I thought was actually interesting was like the Fallout series. I think that was something that I wasn't really interested in beforehand, and I never really played the games, but looking at the universe, it was engaging, and it kind of did remind me of The Last of Us a little bit, with how like bleak certain things looked, just like the whole overall just atmosphere and stuff like that. But I did like that some of the characters were like more colorful, especially when you went underground and stuff like that. And I just like the lore behind, why the war, like the nukes started and stuff like that. The nukes just, destroy the entire world and stuff. I like that. And overall, I like what I saw. But I do think that some of the characters and the characterization isn't the best. And I think, from what I've heard from other people, it wasn't necessarily accurate to, the game's lore. But as a show, I think it was fine. I think it was decent. Things like Alien Covenant are one of those things that kind of make me think like, I feel like older movies do get stuff right that a lot of these newer movies just don't get. And I feel like it's because these newer movies are based around, quantity and not quality. And, when it comes to like the older Alien franchise, like the trilogy, where you actually had Ripley as the main character before she died, I feel like that was peak Alien, especially Alien 2, which is one of the best one of the best movies like ever, honestly. And it's just like, it's irritating how we can't have stuff like that where the world building is good and they expand upon the entire plot and everything like that, and we get characters who are in an action movie, but it doesn't feel like soulless or anything like that, because the characters have heart, and at the end of the day, it's about humanity versus the unknown and stuff like that. And I just like that concept. It's sci-fi at the end of the day, but I think they did well with it because they cared about they put the characters first and the action second. But I feel like it's flipped with these new movies. I think stuff like Deadpool versus Wolverine was kind of a mixed bag, because obviously I think it was a very entertaining film, and it was one of the better films of 2024. But obviously it had some plot issues as well, which the MCU has been struggling with overall in the past 5 years or something like that, since like Endgame or something like that. So I do understand why it had those issues because of other MCU projects, but it still was bugging me to see that this was technically objectively the worst Deadpool movie. And I've loved the Deadpool franchise, the two movies that came out before this, and it's annoying that this gets latched on top of that. And it's just like, this is the third one now. It's just kind of, and it's technically bad, writing wise, but I think the characterization is good. And I think, again, I do like seeing Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I think that he's one of the better castings in Hollywood, especially when it comes to superhero movies, up there with like Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Hemsworth, and I would say Toby as Spider-Man, and just all that other stuff. There are also some other films that I watched, like Anybody But You, Anybody But You, and then there's like Poor Things, and then there's I watched a little bit of Echo. I didn't like it. There's some stuff that I did watch this year, and I think overall some of these projects I feel like were either rushed, or like, for example, Echo, it just feels rushed, and I feel like they really downplayed Kingpin as a whole. And I just overall, I don't like that series, and I don't want to rewatch it like ever. And I'm really scared for the Daredevil TV show, honestly, because I feel like they're going to screw that up as well. When it comes to Anybody But You, it's just another romance that just went terribly. It's horrible. I think it's like a 4 out of, I'll give it like a 3 or a 4, honestly. And if you guys want me to talk about that in the future and kind of like break down why, I will. but it's bad, honestly. And Poor Things is just garbage. 2 out of 10. Maybe two. It's like a 2 to a 4. Again, it's like around Anybody But You, or anyone but you. Yeah, whatever. You get my point. I also watched the Godzilla X Kong movie, and honestly, it's one of the dumbest films I've seen this year. But I think it was actually somewhat enjoyable, and I did like to see more of Kong and the Hollow Earth, world or whatever. And I actually do like Godzilla and Kong, teaming up, which we got a little bit of in Godzilla versus Kong, but in this, they were fighting each other a little bit, but I feel like they were more like paired up together because they had to fight another Godzilla with like ice powers, and the other gorillas or apes, or you get what I'm trying to say, the monkeys or whatever, the other Kong's people. So I really do like that. When it comes to other films, like, again, with the DC stuff, there's one film I did want to talk about, and that's Joker. Now, I feel like Joker overall is just it's not a good film. I think it's really bad. It's probably the worst film I've seen this year, and it's because it, again, takes from something that was actually good and then just shits on it. And I really just don't like how they basically destroyed every single character in the first movie, including Arthur specifically. And it's really annoying too, because I don't think anyone really liked it. I think it got like a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it just shows you that when you take a property that is controversial in like inherently, and then you try to like put some sort of spin on it because you feel like it's problematic or whatever, then you're ruining what was originally good about the writing and the characters and the symbolism behind the first one. Because the first one, there was nothing wrong with it necessarily. Like I think everyone of any race, gender, like group of any sort liked the film. But I feel like overall, Hollywood just doesn't understand what people like to a huge degree. And I feel like directors usually have to save these films. And I feel like actors have to, the actors try their best. They're not in charge of everything. Like, they can only, act out the characters that are given to them. But, I do hope that... I hope that we don't have more stuff like, Joker 2 and, stuff like that, where it's basically a film that could literally destroy someone's career and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's very irritating because stuff like that, it ruins a whole like franchise or like a good film that came before it. And it's irritating, and it's a film that didn't need to have a sequel to begin with, but again, the first one made $1 billion, so I was like, oh, let's make a sequel. And it's just, again, Hollywood, it never misses in terms of making mistakes, and they never miss. There was also House of the Dragon that I watched this year, and I think House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, it wasn't like my favorite TV shows of all time or anything like that. I know they were a huge hit in like from 2011 to like 2018 or 19 or whatever, with the first one. And then this new show, it was good in season 1, but then in season 2 it just completely fell off. And honestly, I can understand it. So I don't know where season 3 is going to head in terms of like the writing and stuff like that, because they cut out a lot of stuff that was from the book, and certain characters would die, and certain motivations were switched, and it's just, I don't think the direction of the show is going, it's not going in a good direction. But I'm just here for the ride, honestly, when it comes to this show. And again, I'm not like the hugest fan of like this franchise, so I'll just wait and see what they're gonna do with it. At least Squid Game was good. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Comment, subscribe, like. Let me know what you think about the video. Let me know if I'm very off when it comes to, rating specific movies, how I do. Maybe, I didn't give credit to a certain film, or maybe you have a different thought process about Hollywood, or, some of the movies and TV shows that I've watched. I'm sure if you watch Agatha, you're not going to have a different thought process about what I think about it. I think it's literally a 1. Undoubtedly a 1 out of 10. Like, you guys can argue, I'll debate someone about that, honestly. Like, that is garbage. That is a definition of garbage television. I think Knuckles is better, honestly. But yeah, comment, subscribe, like. Let me know what you think of the video. And oh yeah, I did see Sonic 3 as well, and I did enjoy that as well. I'll give it like a maybe 7 out of 10, something like that, somewhere around there. Maybe a little higher. I got to really think about it. But overall, yeah, that was basically the stuff that I watched this year. I wanted to just make a video, real quick to kind of just end off the year. I'm gonna take a little break, maybe like a week or so, and yeah, just I'm gonna come out with more Cobra Kai content and stuff like that. But I also want to make content about other stuff. So yeah, comment, subscribe, like. It's been a good year, and I appreciate the support so much. We've gotten so many more subscribers, and so much more love, comments, the likes. That's why I say comment, subscribe, like. That's why I say that every single time, because I just love engaging with y'all overall. And I'm willing to do that in the future, honestly. Now, I haven't seen the Dune TV show as well. I know that came out like a week or so ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, and I haven't seen any of the episodes yet. But I do like the Dune franchise as well, and I am willing to make a review on that if you guys want. I actually was planning on doing that as well. So yeah, again, this video is droning on. This is dragging. Comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys later.
No way, Jose.
Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.